wait, hang on. I might do this as soon.
Oh, brilliant! Oh! It should build up.
Wants to do that all day.
Hello.
That's the last time you'll hear me speaking to that because I hate microphones unless they're really absolutely necessary. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good. Right, so I'm a storyteller. I tell stories. Sometimes I even write stuff, and if we're running out, we need extra time, I might read one of my things that I write later on. But for now, I will tell you a story. And this story is about Thor. Everyone knows who Thor is, right? The great god Thor, the Norse god Thor, the thunder god. Wow. I'm going to need some audience participation. I'm peering into the audience. This I can do. I'm trying to see who. See, I need a man. I need a Viking. I'm sure many ladies in the audience have felt this way themselves. I need someone who looks like a Viking. And I think you, sir, you look like a Viking. You have long hair and a beard, and that will do. I don't know how good you are at smiting.
He's had some practice.
Also, I need someone quite skinny because later, I don't want to give anything away, but I might need you to fit into this. I might need to squeeze you. Oh, look, it's perfect. Right, okay, stop. So, one day, I need you to listen while I'm saying and react in kind. So hopefully you can do that. One day, Thor woke up and yawned and stretched. You'll never make an actor, will you? Yeah. Where is my hammer? Said Thor.
Where's my hammer?
You sound about as tired as Thor did. So
Yeah, well, I've just woken up.
well, but his hammer was nowhere to be found. It was not beside his bed where he normally kept it in case giants broke in the middle of the night because Thor was exceptionally paranoid. It was not under the bed. It had not slipped under the bed while he was making loud and noisy and dangerous God's love to his wife Sif.
Really kind of like that.
He rolled over and he woke up Sif. Sif, Sif, wake up, wake up! Said, what is it? Said Sif. Have you seen my hammer? It's missing my hammer! And Sif reacted like the good and truly patient and calm and wonderful wife that she was. Oh, you big idiot! Get out of bed and go look for it! You probably left it down the pub while you were drinking! Go on, out! And he went to bed. So Thor went with a hangover, for he had been drinking the night before, down to the pub, but he couldn't find it. He went into the Valhalla, where all the gods ate and feasted and drank with the grateful dead? the victorious dead. But it was nowhere to be found. You look really uncomfortable there. You can stand up at the side for a moment. I'll call you when I need you. But it was nowhere to be found. Hammer! He said. Hammer! 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 But it did not respond because it was a hammer. But all this noise and crying and problems had woken up all the gods, who all equally had hangovers because they had been drinking the night before down the Valhalla, which is the local pub for the gods in Asgard. What is it? Said Odin. Son! Stop shouting! But Dad! It's Hammer! Mighty Mjolnir is missing. What? Said Odin. This is terrible! Why, if you do not have Mjolnir, then how will we defend ourselves against the Jotun, the frost giants? And it was true. For fear of Mjolnir, fear of Thor and his hammer was one of the few things that kept the giants at bay in the icy land of Jotunheim. Loki! Cried Odin. Have you stolen Thor's hammer? What? No, said Loki. I don't know why you would think that. I have not touched his hammer whatsoever. Are you telling the truth? this time, it was true. Loki, for once, has not touched Thor's hammer. But I will go to look for it, for I know that you will blame me regardless whether I touched it or not. So I will just go and borrow Freya's feather cloak. Freya! Yes, Loki, what is it? Can I borrow your feather cloak? I suppose. So she lent him her feather cloak, and he cast it about his shoulders, and he transformed instantly into a falcon, like you do, and off he flew! Through Asgard, beyond the icy mountains to Jotunheim!
Dun, dun, dun.
Indeed, the land of the giants. He flew all the way into the kingdom of Thrym, king of the frost giants. And he landed, and he transformed back into his handsome self. And he went up to Thrym and said, Thrym, I reckon you've had something to do with the disappearing of Thor's hammer Mjolnir, have you? Thrym sat, ensconced on his throne, braiding golden bridles for his horses and chains for his hunting hounds. Yes, actually, I buried... No, that's not good. That's not a good voice for giants. Let's think of a better voice for giants. Yes, actually, I have. And I'll like you to know that I've buried it 8 fathoms below the earth, and you shall not get it back until you deliver unto me the beautiful Freya for my wife. I don't normally talk like that. Well then, I shall see what I can do, said Loki. And he donned the feather cloak again, and off he flew all the way back to Asgard, the land of the gods. Well, when he got back, he went up to Thor and he said, Thor, cousin, I have news. Oh, is it good news? Is it bad news? Tell me, did you succeed in your mission? Did you retrieve my hammer? Yes and no. I know where the hammer is, but I'm afraid we're going to have to get it back. And the only way to do that is if we deliver Freya up to the king of the giants. And, nothing, just to be his wife. Oh. Well, I need hammer, so maybe Freya will marry the king of the giants, Thor said, hopefully. Let us go to Freya's and we shall ask. So off they went. All the way up to Freya's house. And Loki said, well, Freya's a little bit touchy when I come to call, so maybe you should break the news to her. Oh, very well. So Thor knocked on the door. Freya! Freya! Yes, who is it? Thor? Thor? Oh! Actually, maybe you'd better let me do the talking, said Loki. So Freya opened the door, arms spread wide to embrace Thor, and there was Loki. Oh, Loki, it's you. Yes, Freya, I've got some wonderful news for you. Well, it just so happens that Thrym, king of the frost giants, has picked you to be his blushing bride. Oh! I'll take that as a no then, maybe? You can bugger off! She said, I don't want to see you again! At this point, Thor interjected, oh, Freya, please, please, I need hammer, I need Mjolnir. Well, Freya could not stand to see Thor cry. Well, it's just, Thor, I know you need Mjolnir and all, but I've heard that Thrym, king of the frost giants, is hideously ugly, with 12 warts upon his nose and warts upon his warts, and one eye that was bigger than the other, and a constant stream of drool pouring out of one corner of his mouth. Well, I'm sure it can't be that bad. No, it's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't marry someone as hideously ugly as that, given that I am the goddess of beauty, after all. Well, when you put it like that, said Thor. Said Loki. I maybe have a solution to your predicament, Freya, but I don't think Thor is going to like it. Oh, really? She said. This is the plan. They conferred. And this is what they said. I see, said Freya. Oh yes, that would be most amusing. What is going on? Said Thor. Nothing, cousin, nothing. We have a solution, and we will be able to get your hammer back. That's the good news. Right. It's just a little matter of you dressing up in a dress and pretending to be Freya while we go all the way up to Thrym's, and you pretend to be Freya, and you marry Thrym, and then you get your hammer back, and then you kill all the giants. What? You kill all the giants. No, what was that about the dress? It's just a little matter of obfuscation, deception. You know, the sort of thing I'm very good at. And don't worry, I'll go with you. I'll dress up too. Well, I don't know about that, said Thor. Do you want your hammer back? Said Loki. Yes, said Thor. Very well then. This is what we're going to do. And Loki borrowed a beautiful dress into which they squeezed the mighty Thor. Squeezed and squeezed. Arms up. He's never put one of these on before, has he? Squeezed! Squeezed! Squeezed the mighty! Put your arms down. No, not like that. Oh. It doesn't matter if you were in it, don't worry. This isn't one of mine, I should point out. I would never wear anything this hideous. Yes, that's exactly right. That's what I wanted to achieve with this. Don't worry, it's going to happen. This cost £1 from the charity shop, so don't worry. I don't know which old lady it belonged to, but... Woo! There we go! And Thor was squeezed into it, his mighty fuse bursting forth from the seams, until it looked like someone had poured a horn of ale and forgotten to say when. Thor is not happy. Thor's fragile masculinity is threatened. It's okay, dear, said Loki. I've done the same. And sure enough, there was Loki in a beautiful dress, which he fitted very well. Oh, so you borrowed dress from Freya too? Yes, something like that. Well then, off we go. Now, there's just a couple of things you need to remember. First, we have to do something about this beard. We'll just need to shave it. No! You can't shave off a man's beard! Thor, I would lose all my manly power. Well, maybe we can just put a veil or something over it. Yes, much prettier. Now the other things to remember are this. 1, girls do not eat the way you eat at the wedding feast. So I want you to take small, dainty mouthfuls. Shall we practice? Second of all, you must be demure, and you must be polite, and you must not get even the slightest bit angry, despite the giants being your mortal enemies. I'll try my best, said Thor. And off they went. They got into Thor's chariot, pulled by his 2 goats. Don't know why he had a goat-pulled chariot, he did. And off they went, shooting along all the way out of Asgard and on to Jotunheim. And when they got to Jotunheim, they came to the palace of Thrym, and in they went. And there was a great feast laid out. All the oxen and fried fishes and gravel axe and rotten shark you could want. They loved rotten shark in those days. It was all laid out for Freya, the beautiful Freya. Well, Thrym cast his arms wide. Welcome, he said. Welcome to my mighty feast. And it's all in your honour, my lovely, my sweet, my... Thor's fuse stretched Flex these. Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway. Thor did his best to keep calm, and Loki surreptitiously poured water onto his head, which caused steam. Rise. So hot and furious was Thor. Now, let us sit down to eat. And they all sat down at the banqueting table, and Loki was having a whale of a time pretending to be a dainty young lady and consumed small mouthfuls, glancing meaningfully at Thor. But Thor grabbed a whole ox and grabbed it down his throat. And then he grabbed a whole plate of salmon and shoved that down his throat too. And then he grabbed a whole rotten shark and held it above himself and watched it slip from the bones. It was that wrong. Until his wedding dress was all smeared with milk. And then he grabbed a whole vat of ale and went whoop, 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 down to the last drop, while the giants looked on, horrified. Well, Freya's appetite certainly isn't lacking, said Thrym. Ah, yes, said Loki, saving the day at the last minute. Ah, that is because you know what, Freya? She hasn't eaten for 9 days or 9 nights. So looking forward she was to this fine feast. She did not want to spoil her figure for her dress, so she starved herself.
Oh, well, I suppose that's all right, said Thrym.
Well, after some time, Thrym was getting impatient. He wanted to kiss his fair bride, and he went to lift her veil, and just as the first hair was starting to show beneath, he jumped back in horror. For Thor's eyes were glowing red with fury and rage. They practically burned holes in the veil. They were so ferocious and rage-filled and angry.
Said Thrym, why is Freya's eyes so red?
Ah, said Loki, jumping in again at the last minute. Well, you see, it is just that Freya has not slept for 9 days or 9 nights and has been weeping constantly, waiting for the chance to finally meet you, oh Thrym.
Well, I know I am a handsome devil, he said, so that's quite understandable. Well, I guess it's time for the ceremony.
Now in those days, and throughout all the Norse lands, since time immemorial until the Norse lands became Christian, which was kind of shit, to be honest. You know, got rid of all the gods, got rid of all the old traditions, but I think some of those things are still surviving, for I'm sure you know that traditionally in Gretna, just across the border in Scotland, blacksmiths would sometimes marry young couples who eloped northwards to England. And that actually is a very old tradition of blacksmiths marrying from pagan marriages, because blacksmiths had power, because they worked iron and steel, which was seen to be a pretty magical skill. And to be honest, if you've ever seen a blacksmith working, making something out of nothing, really, it seems. It truly is quite magical. And so the blacksmith's hammer was a sign of power and strength, and it would be placed in the bride's lap. Before, I didn't have a better hammer than that. So, Mjolnir, the smiter, the crusher, as it was known, was brought forth and placed in Thor's lap. And as soon as Thor's fingers gripped it, his knuckles white, he cast aside the veil and raised Mjolnir on high and cried, "It's hammer time!" And with a blow to the left and a blow to the right, he sent giant heads flying. He sent Thrym's head flying into the rafters. And for all those sisters and aunts who had pled for favours from fair Freya, instead of coins, they got a hammer's blow. Instead of gems, they felt the mark of Mjolnir! And so it was that Mjolnir was recovered, And Thor reclaimed his dignity. Okay, and quickly I'm going to read you something because it seems the thing to do. I do write stuff. I don't know. You can escape from that in your own time. This is slightly more serious. It's called Served Cold. Did you know when you saw me? Did you know I was the one? When you spied me there without a care, dancing to the beat on the tacky floor in the sweatmosphere of the grimy hall, I twisted and turned. The way you twisted my world, turned it upside down. I was so giddy then, so silly and young. Here we are now. We move so close to each other. I can feel your heart beat in your chest. I can see the heaving of your breast as you push and you thrust insistently into her. I have been waiting so long to be strong enough. So much time has passed. You've probably forgotten about me. But I remember you. I remember when you thrust into me on the very same bed. Thrust in and out. The mattress is different now, no doubt. The sheets you burned, my clothes as well. The mess I made. Was it hell to you? To see yourself so bathed in gore? Did you really know what was laid in store for me? That panicked look when you found out I was 15. When my body betrayed your fantasy, your perfect teenage girly dream. Was I so disgusting to you that you had to squeeze, crush, and choke the life from me? I'd never leave you. I never could. I saw you wipe away the past as easily as my maidenhood. Met and married, mother bore sons, divorced and down the pub again to find poor broken girls to sate your lust, who you cut loose as you cut me up. Maybe you notice the little things at least. A chill breeze, your misplaced keys, an open door, a drawer stuck, little moments, petty things, sheer bad luck. Do you think they helped to help her leave? I like to think so. As you grew older, I grew stronger, and I waited. I see you. I see inside of you. You see, we've never really been apart. And now I see the weakness in your heart. A little thing. It was always there, but now I'm strong enough to scrutinize and reach in there and squeeze the arteries just slightly thinner. I see you start, as you see my vengeful stare, the barest glimpse in the bedside mirror. You flex, convulse, clutch at her hair. Did you see, there in her eyes, your face as I once saw mine, your own reflected, desperate fear? Now welcome to the shadow.